this meeting of the Burlington Conservation Meeting to order, date December 8th, 2022. The first item of business is to read the introductory announcement. Good evening. My name is Larry Cohen. I chair the Burlington Conservation Commission. I call this hybrid meeting of the commission to order. This open meeting of the commission is being conducted both virtually, consistent with Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, through WebEx link provided in the agenda and on the town's website and in person. Through technology, reasonable public access is afforded so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Public participation is provided during public participation part of the agenda and during public hearings as provided for by law. Other public participation is at the discretion of this chair. If the Conservation Commission encounters technical problems during this meeting, the chair may, in his or her sole discretion, decide how to address said problems, which includes proceeding with the in-person meeting despite said problems, if needed. A couple of other items. Please remember to mute your phone if you're participating by online or computer when not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. When recognized, please first state your name and, if a resident, where you live before speaking. Finally, each vote taken during this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. That is required. I'll call on each person. The first item as part of calling the meeting to order on this agenda is to confirm which meetings of the commission are present. As I call your name, please state that you are either present or here.
Hello.
Ed Laturco? Okay. Indra Deb?
On.
Okay. Don Bernstein? He has signified that he is present.
Anybody's hearing you. I wonder if they're hearing you.
Can everyone hear me? Don, can you hear me? Indra, can you hear me?
Good. No, I don't think they can.
Ed, can you hear me? Well, we just lost 3 commissioners all
hang
at
on.
once.
Oh,
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us now, Ed and Don and Indra?
Yes, can hear you.
All right,
Sorry.
let's
Let's try this one more time. I'll call the roll call. Ed Laturco.
Here.
All right.
Indra Deb?
Here.
I don't know.
Don Bernstein?
here.
Jennifer O'Riordan? Absent. Kent Moffett?
Here.
Vice Chair Bill Boygan?
Here.
Chair Larry Cohen? For the record, I am here. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got that. All right, next is public participation. Is there anybody first online who is not here for something already on the agenda? There's a time, this is a public participation. If you'd like to say something about anything, obviously related to conservation interests, you're welcome to do so. Okay, the answer is no. How about here in person? Is there anybody here in person that wants to say anything about something not on the agenda that's on your mind? Okay, record should show that no one volunteered any public participation comments. All right, on the approval of minutes, we have 2 of them listed. October 27, 2022. Are we in a position to approve the minutes of October 27th? People are shaking their head. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 27th, 2022?
So moved. Ed?
That was by Ed Laturco. Second?
Second, Ken.
Kent Moffett, second. All those in favor? Or let me call, we'll call the vote. We have Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
I abstain. I wasn't at that meeting.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 5-0-1. The minutes of October 27th are passed. Next one are the minutes of November 10th. Are we in a position to approve those minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Can I
Hearing nothing further, could I have a motion to approve the minutes of November 10th, 2022?
So moved.
Bill Boyven, motioned. Is there a second?
Second, Indra.
Indra, okay. Ed, how do you vote on approval of November 10th minutes?
Yes.
Okay, Don,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The minutes of November 10th are approved. Okay. Okay, next we have item 4A. Okay, notice is given. The Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting in the main hearing room. And it is to act upon a request for determination of applicability filed by Nancy Regonini Tripodi. The commission will take information related to the proposed construction of a carport within the 100-foot buffer zone of bordering vegetative wetlands located at 60 Beaverbrook Road. The commission will thereafter issue a determination. The application is being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and the Burlington Bylaw Article 14. And a copy of this application is available by writing to conservation@burlington.org. Is there someone here for 60 Beaverbrook?
No, Nancy had two different classes to do today, so I told her she didn't really have to be here.
Okay,
Under the circumstances, so she had already laid, as I'm showing the picture of what she wants to do, put a carport over a patio. The patio was already laid. She didn't need a building permit for that. So we let her go ahead with carport. We saw it yesterday, so my pictures aren't reflecting yesterday. It's really just a structure with a roof over the existing carport. It's something like 80 or so feet from the BBW, which is in the backyard. This is just, she had got a determination from you last year, and she just didn't, I guess, think to include this, or they expanded their plans. I'm not really sure what it is, but I don't have any concerns about it. This is just sort of an extension of all the backyard work they were doing this past year or two.
all right, okay. A few of us were also out there. So it's an addition of a carport to an existing house on an existing patio, so to speak.
The patio is recent.
Oh, it is?
You know, she doesn't need a building permit for a patio, so only the carport came
So,
in front of us.
okay, all right. Ed, any questions?
None at all.
Dawn,
No, no questions.
Kent, anything? Indra, anything?
Nope.
Bill?
No questions.
I have no questions. Is there anybody in the audience that has a comment for 60 Beaverbrook Road, either online or in person? The answer is no. All right, so we have a small draft decision, which simply means if they adhere to a few short conditions, then this project has no impact on the resource area.
So the findings are that the applicant proposed to build a 24-foot by 18-foot carport over a patio on the eastern side of the existing house. The work was located within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland and would be about 80 feet from the wetland. The owner had already built a patio at this location prior to the carport. There are a few minor conditions on this, which are mostly just saying that the sediment barriers from last year's project are still in place. So doesn't actually have to put up any more erosion controls. Department staff may require erosion controls to be enhanced if deemed insufficient, and she just has to keep an eye on no tracking of sediments onto the roadway, no filling or grading on the property is allowed beyond which shown in the plan. And she's also aware from last year that she should not dump anything into the wetlands and should not be using pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides on her property, and is aware that we, staff or the committee may check on the project as it's going along, but it's visible from the road, so you'll be able to see it if you need.
Okay, so are there any other changes or comments to the proposed negative conditional determination draft? Nope. All right, then could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 60 Beaverbrook Road under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 and the State Wetlands Protection Act?
So moved. Bill.
Okay, second?
Second, Don.
Second it.
Okay, I'll give that one to Ed. All right, so Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. By a vote of 6-0, the negative conditional determination for 60 Road is approved. Okay, so I guess they get the papers in a few days. Is that how it works? Yeah, okay.
Everything's dated next Tuesday.
Yep. All right. All right, here's the signature page. All right. Next on the agenda, we have a few requests for a certificate of compliance and to consider the release of the surety, performance surety. The first one is 9 Kerry Ave by Thamara Aller Martins under the Burlington Wetland Bylaw for 9 Kerry Ave. Somebody here for that one? Hi there, can you, is your voice on?
You should be able to unmute yourself, Tamara.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can hear you now. So the way this works is you simply, you can introduce yourself and state where you live, and we'll take it from there, I guess, unless you have something else you want to say. You're on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamara Martins, and I'm here for 9 Cary Ave for our certificate of compliance. I live in Tewksbury, Mass.
Okay, so you don't live at 9 Kerry Ave.
I wish.
Okay. All right. It is a very nice house.
Thank you.
Okay, so we were out at the site. John or Eileen, do you have any comments?
I'll just give you guys just kind of a recap. I'm sharing some some pictures here. So we got the as-built. It shows that so this was issued under a wetland permit because there's an isolated wetland in the backyard. This was a tear down and a rebuild. I can't remember the exact distance, but the house was going to be something like 80 feet or something from the wetlands. Tamara can correct me if I'm wrong. They built a pretty large new house, and a couple of nice features that they put in is that they put in porous pavers at the front and at the side. And then they did an infiltration system. There are some tiny changes from the original proposed plan. In the proposed plan, there was also a stone apron on the other side of the porous pavers, but that wasn't necessary, didn't make any sense, so they didn't do that. The infiltration system went in. Several of us were there yesterday. It all looked so nice. They did a great deal of planting in the back. They planted, I think it was 950 plugs, either plugs or shrubs. So those aren't really established yet. They're looking fine so far, but they only just went in a couple of months ago. The grass is looking great. My only question for Tamara is something that was noted when we were out there yesterday, is that there are spots where there's grout or cement or something visible at the edge of the pavers. And we're wondering, does that go all the way underneath? Because that'll just nullify their porosity.
So that was just the gravel left on the side. It should set within time.
This isn't gravel here, though. This looked like cement, but it may have just been to keep the edge parts in place. That was our question. Is it clear to you where I'm?
Because I think that's mainly, there was a few parts where the engineering tested, he tested the pavers, when he wrote the report. So I think to replace the pavers where he had tested, that's what we did to replace it on the side only.
It's only on the side, the edge. So it's only on the edge.
Yeah, only at that edge. Everything else was prepared only using gravel, and the pavers were nicely placed. That was just on that side.
Okay, all right, that's fine. It's very attractive too. So let's see if anyone else has anything else on this one. Ed, any further comment?
Wait, mommy will be right there.
Ed, any further comment?
No, she pretty much covered what concern I had.
Right. Don,
No further questions.
Indra?
Nope.
Okay. Kent? Nope. Bill? No. I have nothing further. All right, so therefore, could I have a motion for the commission to issue the certificate of compliance for 9 Kerry Ave? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I guess Don will get the first one. Who's seconding?
I'll do second.
And Bill did the second. All right, so Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The certificate of compliance is issued. Next is the performance surety. How much is it?
It was for 2,500.
All right, do you recommend full release or partial hold or what?
I think just under the circumstances, it might be wise to hold maybe half of it, because just to make sure that, you know, we can, or somebody can cover the replacement of some of the wetland plants if they don't do well. They spent a lot of money on those wetland plants, so I know they're going to want them to.
Right. Okay, so are you recommending holding how much?
Why don't you hold 1,500, give 1,000 back?
Okay, and give them 1,000 back? All right, so how does that, Tamara, how does that sound to you, Tamara?
Yeah, that's fine, because I know it may take, we don't know how the plants are gonna, set out to be, but they were looking pretty nice towards the end of September. So hopefully they'll grow back nicely, like they were looking, and that's
Right.
fine with us.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. So could I have a motion from the commission to release $1,000 of the performance bond out of the 2,500 for 9 Kerry Ave?
Moved it.
Ed, yep.
Second, Kent.
All right, Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Indra?
I have just one question. What did you say? Was it $2,500 we had?
Yes, we're releasing 1,000 out of the 2,500.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. So there is a 1,000 out of the $2,500 total is released. And tomorrow, we thank you very much.
Great, thank you, everyone.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
Next is 6 to 8 Adam Street, E.H. Perkins Construction. Anyone here for that one? We got you. Okay.
And you also have Minor Wood on the screen, but I believe his microphone is broken, so you're gonna have to depend on me.
You can only wave.
I just
We
needed
can only-
him a while ago.
And this camera.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. For the record, my name is Mary Trudeau, and I'm representing E.H. Perkins this evening.
And Mr. Wood is who?
Mr. Wood works for E.H. Perkins, and he was actually the engineer who supervised the activities on the site during the life of the order of conditions.
Oh, okay.
But he's having a little technical problem tonight. This is a really old project. This was about circa 2006. We came to you with a proposal to make significant changes in the use the property known as 6 to 8 Adams Street. Up to that date, it had been mostly like a staging area for stones, sand, soils. They had a crushing operation there that they made a recycled asphalt product with, and they most importantly had a long linear pond that had a NIPD's permit allowing discharges into the brook, the Vine Brook that runs behind their site. And that little pond, do you know the name of the pond?
Butterfield Pond.
Butterfield Pond, yes. So they had a discharge permit at that point, allowed this settling pond that they had built to overflow into Butterfield Pond and Vine Brook when it was high enough. In 2006, they decided that they wanted to eliminate the stone washing operation, which meant they no longer needed the long pond and they could close out their discharge permit for that pond. But they wanted to construct a concrete plant instead. So we came before you with a notice of intent to construct the concrete plant, to create more formalized storage areas, bins below Adams Street to store various types of stone product and material, and also to abandon the washing ponds that had been on the site and to eliminate that connection to the brooks. As part of the order of conditions, the commission asked that the 100-foot riverfront area be bounded with concrete blocks and that the 0 to 100-foot riverfront area be allowed to grow back naturally and not be used. In the past, it had been overflow storage for piles of material. It had just been part of their site activity work area. So over the next 3 years, E.H. Perkins did abandon the pond. They closed down that discharge point. They restored the riverfront area, placing the concrete blocks along the 100-foot zone, and they built their concrete plant that has been in operation since that point in time. And at no point after that did we apply for a certificate of compliance. So we just didn't think of it again. And a few months ago, Minot was looking through his files and he found the as-built plans and realized that we probably should close out this project while we still were all alive. So here we are tonight.
Which would be difficult to perhaps do any transfer of deed in the future
Yes.
if they don't.
Yes, the one change in use that has happened out there is actually not a reflection of E.H. Perkins, but the town of Burlington owns a small piece of land abutting their property and has recently started using it for similar stockpile staging area types of things, but that's not E.H. Perkins. Our site has really been unchanged since 2009, 2010.
Even they're still doing that, even with the new facilities that DPW has?
It's probably related to the water line construction that's going through Lexington and.
Yeah, it could be. It could be that they've loaned that out to someone.
Convenient.
Albanese is doing that work on Lowell Street, which is not that far.
Right.
Could be. I'm not sure what the town is doing. We went back through our records and we looked for various reports and documentation that had been required in the order of conditions. And we found very little. That I do not have the hard drive anymore that I would have had for any of the paperwork on this. Minot was able to find 4 monitoring reports, number 2, 3, 4, and 5, of reporting that he apparently did in the past. We don't have report 1, and I'm not sure how far.
Monitoring for what?
For the construction of the,
Erosion controls and stuff?
yes, I think there was a condition in the permit that said when we're doing work in the riverfront area, monitoring was to be done. And so there was at least some done, but we don't have documentation of that, primarily because it was 16 years ago.
Okay. Okay, so that's your summary?
Yes, I guess if I was just going to make one more statement, it would be that I actually think the site looks much better than I had ever expected it to look when we first came in and saw you, that I had some concerns in the beginning about how that pond would be abandoned and what it would look like. And if you go out today, it's just a very well vegetated buffer between the brook and the pond. The barriers that we put up at the 100-foot riverfront line have clearly been respected, and there's probably 20 or 30 feet in some areas beyond that that they are no longer using, that have just been allowed to revegetate. So I think that they have honored the commitments that they made to change their use of the site and leave the more sensitive areas intact.
Okay, good. Mr. Trudeau, thank you. John or Aileen, do you have some comments on this one?
Sure, I'll take this one. So obviously, this is a really old one, and our files are sort of missing some documents as well. But I certainly remember the filing. So the concrete plant was outside the buffer zone. So the primary focus of the filing was the restoration of riverfront area. Those granite blocks that were put there were to designate the inner 100 feet, and that was supposed to be basically restored to natural riverfront. So while it's clearly not being used for gravel operations, it appears to be being regularly mowed, which I don't think was the intent of the commission. It was supposed to become a naturally vegetated buffer to the riverfront. So that's a problem. Additionally, if you go on the left-hand photo, if you look at in the background, there's a big stockpile there. And in that area back there, the wetlands extend into the outer riverfront area. So the area beyond those markers, those blocks is wetland. And the wetland is right at the base of those stockpiles. Now, I have no idea if those stockpiles were there when this was permitted 16 years ago, or if they've moved or been added to, but they're right at the wetlands. I'm not sure if the wetlands are the same as they were when it was permitted. I mean, that's in the area near their industrial pond. And it's certainly all floodplain.
I suspect that the delineation would be different because the pond is no longer there. And if you recall, the pond was filled with very fine sediments because it was washing stone. So it could well be that wetlands vegetation has now grown up in areas where it didn't occur before, because the pond used to be an actively worked area of the sand and gravel pit. With respect to the mowing, I believe they mow it at least once every year, but they're perfectly happy to stop mowing it if you would prefer. I think they just thought it looked better.
I think the commission would probably prefer it to be naturally vegetated riverfront.
Yeah, I think if you mow it once a year, you'll keep it as a grassy community, which I think would be their preference, but I think they would certainly be willing to just leave it alone if that was the request of the commission.
It's up to the commission.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about it, see what you say. All right, that's it for the summary. All right, so Indra, have any questions or comments on this one? This is that rock, sand and gravel concrete facility right behind Friend Lumber.
Well, I see, yes, I have a question. So they're requesting for certificate of compliance. And I haven't heard that the project is built or is in compliance with the approved plans and Conservation Commission order of conditions. I haven't heard that.
I believe that the site has been built in compliance with the site plan that was approved by the Conservation Commission, and we have submitted an as-built plan that documents what was built. And I did not notice any significant deviations.
John, do you agree with that?
Yeah, except for the two things that I mentioned, the mowing and the fact, and the second one I'm not really sure about. It seems like the wetlands are probably closer than they were originally, which isn't saying that they didn't meet the order. It's just the conditions have changed. So, so besides the mowing, I would say yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, no
right.
further question.
All right, thank you, Indra. Ed?
You're muted, Ed.
Ed, you're muted.
The blocks go all the way.
Sorry. I prefer to see it, let it grow as is. With the droughts we've all been having and whatnot, let it grow up. You know, it could very well burn itself.
Right, okay.
Pretty sure
Dawn?
that is there, isn't it? On
Yeah,
top.
I have a question regarding what was discharged into the Vine Brook by the concrete plant. Is there documentation on what the material was?
It was just water, that the ponds used to be used to wash gravel, so they would run water through the ponds over stone. And then if there was excess water that it started to approach the height of the pond, it would flow out into the Vine Brook. And it was monitored by the EPA. There was a NIPD's permit in place for it. And when we eliminated the pond, we were able to eliminate the permit as well. So there is currently no discharge other than from overland flow, like any other site in town. There's no point source discharge anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Kent?
Everybody's covered.
Okay. Bill?
The pond that is no longer there, is that shown as retention pond on the drawing? Is that now it's plants or?
It's completely grassed over now. You can see aerials to John. I'm not sure if he was able to, but I do have some. I can show you what it looks like now.
I'm just curious if that was it, if that was a location on the drawing.
This is 2000.
You have the aerials on here too.
You have the aerials?
Yeah, I put them into a single one, just, oh, sorry, I'm not sure. No, you can feel free to have, show whoever, but I'm, for this, on the screen, I'm going to also show them.
Okay, this is basically the footprint of the pond and it's grassed over now. You
Okay.
can see how it used to have a constraint there, and they didn't really change the topography, they just abandoned.
So where is that retention area now, that the water area that we saw in this?
This was the pond, now it's grass.
No, there's
On the drawing, there's something that says retention pond, and I'm just curious, is that what that is? But it seems to be a different shape than what you've done.
There is something on the drawing that does there, yeah, that.
Oh, I think it's just a grassed area now. I mean, it was probably just a holding pond.
No, it's wet, it's wet.
Does it have standing water in it?
I think, we didn't go out there, but it's,
We didn't
it's wetland.
change the grade out there, whatever was there.
as we approached that pile of sand, there was a wet area. To the-
Yes.
What is that?
I think it might be, is it what I'm showing you right there? That it was probably deeper at that point, which is 2008, maybe it's just the shallow remnants, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean,
It looked like some kind of a wetland pondish type of thing.
like a marsh, I would say, I would call it more a marsh than a pond at this point, but yeah.
Marsh, yeah.
It was standing water.
There was standing water in there.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Bill?
I would prefer to see that area just left alone as well.
Yeah.
Instead of mowed.
Yeah, my comments are, it's inside those concrete blocks, the inner riparian, I thought I heard you say. That is the most important part of the 200-foot buffer zone. It acts, if it vegetated properly, it would act for wildlife, for the adjacent pond on the other side, and acts for various reasons of the values for riverfront. So, but if it's completely mowed, it doesn't have that potential. So, yeah, I think it still has to be. The only question is, it's all grass. Will it revegetate appropriately, or with all the grass that's there now?
Yeah, it's a wildlife seed mix that was out there. It's not a long grass type of grass. Like I have seen it when they haven't cut it regularly, and it does grow to be more like a meadow type vegetation. It's not grass that only stays this tall. And there, as you move further towards Lexington on the site, the vegetation becomes more mixed with wetland herbs in it where it's wetter. Do you know that it's a more diverse plant community? I think if you let it grow, for the first couple of years, you would just have longer grass. And then I think eventually you'd start getting in some maybe little poplars, some birch. and you would have succession start happening, maybe little red maple saplings. Eventually, it would become wooded. It's a choice for the commission. Do you want it mowed once a year to keep it meadow-like, or do you want to let it grow back to be wooded? I mean, the client doesn't use it. It's not property that he has any activity for, so it really doesn't matter to him.
Yeah,
He just thought it looked better.
the meadow lights are typically mowed once a year. And,
Keep the woody vegetation down.
right, that's a typical maintenance thing.
Yeah, the one good thing that the mowing has done is that it has favored the grasses, so we don't have a lot of invasives or non-natives in that 100. I think that probably is partially the result of the mowing, that mowing tends to favor grasses because they regenerate so much faster. But it's well established now. I don't think you're going to have a non-native take hold in that area any more than you would any other place in
I
town.
think the general history behind the commission is we have preferred to see the riverfront left alone,
Yeah.
revegetated naturally, and so we're more likely to act as a riverfront area.
Yeah, I would say that we'd be happy to agree to that. The only thing, if we start to have a problem with, like, say, black swallow wart or Phragmites coming in, we might come back to you and talk about it. But
Sure.
at this point, leaving it alone is fine.
Now, the other issue is that I thought we haven't touched upon enough, is there is a wetland right up to the base of that huge sand pile, okay? And we don't know whether, to me, in my mind, the first question would be, I think, obvious, is, does that represent a filling of a wetland? I'm not sure we have the documentation to know either way, but
I don't think it was a wetland before. I think that the wetlands line that we had flagged before was along the brook, and that everything inside of that line was active sand and gravel operations. Do you
so
know?
now that it's a wetland, should it be pulled back? It seems like the commission, let me ask John first to see what and Eileen. Should we ask for them to pull back the sand, which seems to be right at the toe of the wetland? There's no 20-foot, no disturb zone, there's nothing.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's been there. I would say at the very least that they need to put erosion controls at the base of that slope. I mean, so that area does not appear to have been wetland when this was approved.
I think we could put Jersey barriers along the back of it.
Yeah, that'd work.
I was just gonna say that myself, because this is obviously a recycle place where they're moving that pile of sand.
And other gravels, as we saw, they're using it, it's coming in and out. That pile is gonna get moved at some point in time, so maybe they could prepare that for whenever they need to go into that pile, nothing's gonna fall back into that area.
Yeah,
So
it is a dynamic pile.
Let me ask John, and Eileen, can you say with confidence that the wetland wasn't in that location, that it was further back towards the stream?
Well, I'm assuming that the wetland boundary shown on the as-built plan is the same.
Yes.
And yes.
So this is a case where maybe the change in operations ended up expanding the wetlands.
And the change in hydrology, that we used to discharge water and now it doesn't.
That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Okay, so it sounds like we're asking for Jersey barriers as a precaution against further erosion. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so do we need to hold the certificate at this point or grant, what would you suggest, John?
No, I'd suggest you issue it.
And then take it that they're going to handle the non-mowing and put in the Jersey barriers.
Yeah, I'll talk to them about both. I know the mowing is not an issue. We've had that conversation, and I don't think the barriers will be either.
Okay, and you'll get back to the commission, assuming, rather than just not do it, I assume you'll get back to the office if.
Maybe, yeah, I'll do that.
Is there a bond of any kind on this?
Well, there was a bond. We'll certainly need to document that it was actually received. It's a $10,000 bond. So I'm not sure if it was a paper bond. I don't know if the applicant's, Mike isn't working, so I'm not sure.
I don't think it was a paper, I think it was like a bond that they paid money every year to renew. Does that make sense?
Like
It wasn't like
an
a
insurance
savings.
one?
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
like a savings book that they gave you.
So like an insurance bond, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure they kept.
That's
they kept
probably
paying it.
expired,
That's,
yeah.
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 I don't think that's an issue.
Just to be safe, you can vote to release it, and if there's
Contingent
if there's nothing to release, then obviously we don't release anything, but.
Okay, so there's nothing to say that we would hold until they had done the work we requested either, so,
Right.
okay.
All right, so that's what's being suggested. So the suggestion is that I would entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 6 to 8 Adams Street for the E.H. Perkins Construction Company, DEP number 122-399.
Such a motion.
So move, Bill.
Second,
Second, Ed.
okay. Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don,
Yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Kent? Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. By a vote of 600, the certificate of compliance is issued.
Thank you very much.
And could I have a motion to release the $10,000 bond if it currently exists in the possession and active in the possession of the town of Burlington? And the full amount would be released if it exists. Is there a motion?
So moved, Ed.
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right. Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don,
yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. If the bond exists, it's contingent, then the bond would be fully released.
Yeah, we don't think it does exist, but
Right.
we'll see.
All right. Mr. Go, thank you very much.
And while Larry's signing, I'll just remind Dawn, Indra, and Ed that we'll need at least 2 of you to come in and sign these decisions tomorrow or Monday.
I can get there tomorrow.
Thanks.
Text you too. She just texted me.
All right, next on our agenda, we have item
5C. It is a request to release a certificate for 50 and 100 Summit Drive, formerly called 128 Wheeler Road. The request was made by the 128 Wheeler Road LLC, and it was a Burlington Stormwater Bylaw permit. Someone here for that one?
They are not here tonight.
They're not here either. Okay. All right, Eileen or John, would you give us a rundown on this one?
Do you want me to share this?
Sure,
John?
I'll do this one. So this was, they changed the address on this. It was originally filed as 128 Wheeler, and it was actually 2 different addresses. It was the former, I think, Meineke or Midas, or I think Meideke on Middlesex Turnpike was torn down, and a new building was built where there's now a sub shop. Then the building behind it was renovated, and in the process, they reconstructed the parking lot, put in an all-new drainage system. So we have the as-built plan, we had regular inspection reports, everything looks good,
All right, are there any issues?
no issues.
All right, so, sounds like an easy one. Ed, anything?
10,000 checks.
Nothing.
Don?
no, nothing,
Indra,
Nothing.
Kent,
Nothing.
Bill?
No, nothing.
I have nothing further. Could I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 50 and 100 Summit Drive issued to the 128 Willow Road LLC?
So move, Bill.
Second,
second, Don,
Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don,
yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The certificate of compliance has been issued. Is there a bond on this one?
10,000.
Do you recommend full release?
Yes.
Okay, sounds reasonable. Could I have a motion for full release of a $10,000 bond for 50 and 100 Summit Drive?
So moved.
Ken?
Second,
Second, Ken?
okay. Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don,
yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and the chair, yes. By vote of 600, full release of the bond for 50 and 100 Summit Drive is approved. Okay, let's move along. Next, we have a discussion of an enforcement order that was addressed to 9 Stony Brook Road. Is there something here for that one?
I can help talk to it. I haven't been as active in this one as Dean has been, but I'll
That-
stand up in case you have a question I can answer.
Well, that's nice of you.
Nice.
You must be feeling generous,
That Christmas spirit.
feeling generous tonight. Okay, very nice.
For the record, my name is Mary Trudeau, and I was working with Derek Campbell on this enforcement action.
All right. Okay, so Eileen and John, you have some comments, please?
Well, sort of just, I did a little sort of history document for everybody earlier today. About in June of 2020, I think somebody noticed that there was activity happening behind 9 Stony Brook Road. There is a stream that runs between that property and the property next door, number 11, so it's in a riverfront. They had brought in some loam. I think they were new homeowners. I think they had recently purchased.
They're a young couple.
They were. They
wanted a yard.
Wanted to expand the yard. So not knowing any better, they brought in some loam, and I think they may have taken down some trees. But
They cleared. There was like thicket of like rose bushes, viburnums, sort of typical wetland shrubs, very thick at the back end of their property, and they cut it all down and spread probably 6 inches of loam.
They did. So we went out and took a look. We spoke to them. They agreed to remove the loam. Mary did a restoration plan for them. And then, so this all took a little while. COVID was happening. I've forgotten her name, but they were pregnant with their second, and all sorts of things were happening.
When this was all going on.
Somebody had got sick, COVID. Anyway, so in the end, I'm sorry, what's his name again?
Derek.
Derek did plant some high bush blueberries, some of which are still surviving, and he attempted this
The live stakes.
method for planting.
Yeah, I mean, he pulled out all the fill that he had put in, and to a point that we agreed on, he spread a wetland seed mix. He put in a couple of high bush blueberries, and then he bought some live stakes, which is often a very successful way of getting woody vegetation started. He had the misfortune to have a summer last year with an incredible drought, and they didn't survive.
Also, this is just an example of, I did see the live stakes a little bit after they had gone in. So I know that he definitely did attempt to
So is it
do,
like taking a twig from a bush
yeah.
and just sticking it in the ground?
basically.
But you buy them, you pay money for it, but yeah, it's like that.
You pay money for that?
Yeah, good money for that, yeah,
Really?
yes. It's a great business, Larry. We should talk after this meeting, but yeah. No, they did, they bought.
Sounds like a great venture. Just cut off the twigs and sell them.
I think when John was looking into it, he found that it's often used in something like a riverbank restoration, so that's going to be wet pretty much all the
If we
time.
had a normal summer and this area had stayed as wet as it usually is, he probably would have had better success rate with the live stakes. You know, certainly some of them would be alive, but they fried.
So as it is, he has a few high bush blueberries, 4 or 5 certainly. They're still at least there in some sort of shape. And the rest of that area that had, which he had, in which he had replaced the loam, now has a lot of rushes, probably some sedges. I don't know if you've seen it lately, Mary, but that's where we stand right now. And he did also, he has strimmed it at least once. He said he didn't mow it, he used like a strimmer, weed whacker.
What he said to me was that he did that, and then he said he had someone mowing his lawn, and they mowed half of it before he stopped them. So there was some mowing that happened in that area this year.
Does he really know that he's supposed to leave that alone and let it revegetate?
He well, he knows it now, but he did know it then. I mean, I had told him, do not mow this lawn until you get rid of this enforcement action. You know, leave this alone.
Wait,
But anyways, you know, like you just have to resolve this issue and leave it. And I believe he did understand that. I think there's some level of, you know, it's like I was saying, he's a young guy. This is his first house. He's just stressed by this whole thing. Like he wasn't responding to Eileen's emails, and so Eileen asked me to reach out to him. And I said, why aren't you responding? And he goes, I'm just so upset I can't write her back yet. You know, like, which is, I just think this has been really hard for them, that this is an expensive house for them. His wife has 2 babies. She's not working right now. You know, they're just freaked out by the whole thing that they got in trouble for trying to do a lawn.
So he did put up that little fence there between John and I being out last week and us being out yesterday. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think he's willing to not mow it, and, you know, you could ask him to put some boulders there, or, you know, whatever would make you more comfortable with it, but he's just fried over this. I mean, that's all I can say. He's just,
Is he,
he's not angry, he's just upset.
he's not uncooperative?
No.
You wouldn't characterize it as uncooperative?
Not at all.
I mean, he did all that work.
No, and this is I mean, truthfully, this is a couple that didn't have that kind of money to rip out all that loam. Do you know, like, I think that it was an expense for them to put the loom in and to expand their lawn and then to have to rip it out again. You know, it was a burden on him. I mean, not that he didn't do it to himself, but it was very expensive for that family to do
And
that.
discouraging too, I'm sure, for them.
Very discouraging for him, yeah.
Well, it seems to me, one option the commission has is to simply release the enforcement order with the clear understanding that if he goes back when we're not looking and to mowing it on a regular basis, we'll reinstitute an enforcement order.
I think that would be fair. I just think he needs to be,
As long as that's clearly communicated to them, that, I mean,
yeah, it would be a nice Christmas gift for them. I mean, I just think he's just so stressed about it.
okay. I mean, it's not hard to understand, just leave it alone. Right?
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? I'd recommend issuing lifting the enforcement order with a provision that you get one more inspection report from Mary next fall on the status of that area.
Yeah, I'm happy.
And if
to
she
do
goes
that.
out there and it's all been mowed, then you issue another enforcement order.
All right, how does the commission feel about that suggestion by John?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so let's, unless anybody on the commission have anything else?
No, the fact that he's put in this little fence clearly shows that he understands what the limits are supposed to be, and he's making an effort, so.
All right, could I have a motion to lift the enforcement order on the condition that one inspection report be done at essentially in the fall of 2023?
Yeah.
To see that it's being maintained and unmowed and so forth. I guess that's all we need.
Yeah, and I'm happy to do that for him, just to get this off of all of our plates.
You are in a good mood.
No, this is just one, you know, it turned out like he's the same age as my children. I hadn't realized how young he was, you know, this one just really got me. But I appreciate you doing this.
All right. So is there a motion to that effect?
So moved, Ed.
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right. Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The enforcement order is
Lifted on
lifted
the provision that one inspection report is done in the fall of 2023. Okay. All right. Next, we have a minor engineering change, 60 Blanchard Road. They want to add a dumpster with an enclosure under an existing order, DEP file number 122-652. Is there someone here for 60 Blanchard Road? I'm not sure what it's called now.
Yes, hello. My name is Joseph White. I'm a civil engineer with BSC Group, representing Nordblum and their tenants, Azure Group, for 60 Blanchard Road.
Okay.
Like you said, the Azure Group actually has a couple of dumpsters out there, and they wanted to keep them permanently. This project goes back kind of a while now, and we're close to requesting a certificate of compliance, and then this topic of the dumpster came up, and they wanted to keep them permanently out there. So we added the proposed dumpster location. It's within the 40-foot setback to the wetland. It's going to be taking up 3 existing parking spaces out there, so it's not going to create any more impervious area or anything like that. It's just going to be putting a concrete pad with a fence, and there's actually a detail on that plan as well that will show what it looks like.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Eileen or John, do you have any comments on this one?
Well, no, I think Joe made it pretty clear. Just due to some changes, they already have a dumpster out there, as some of us saw yesterday, but it's just sitting on the asphalt, so they need to, properly enclose it and put it on concrete. But since it is within the 40-foot, in fact, it's almost at the 20-foot no disturb, we did ask for an MEC just so that this is reflected in the history of the permit. As Joe was saying, there's actually, I think, a detail down here. I don't have any issues with this dumpster, this proposal.
Okay. Let's see if anyone else has any comments. Ed, do you have anything further on the?
After we saw it, no problem.
Don?
Nope, no problem.
Indra?
Nope. I think enclosure is better than without enclosure.
Kent?
Nothing to add.
Bill?
No problem.
One question, is the existing wood fence that delineates the end of the parking lot on the corner there, is that being taken down, or, and it's, so the enclosure is inside that woodish type of fence?
Yeah, so that's I think are you talking about the guardrail there?
Yes, a wood guardrail.
Yeah, I believe that's staying. We're not proposing to take that down.
Okay.
That's already there and established, and it would just require more disturbance right up against the 20-foot there. So I don't see why that can't stay.
That's why I asked, because there would be more disturbance.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I guess there's nothing further on this. Then I guess we could have a motion to issue the minor engineering change for 60 Blanchard Road to add a dumpster with an enclosure for permit DEP file number 122-652.
So move.
No,
Bill.
Second,
Second, Indra.
Ed, how do you vote?
Yes,
Don,
Yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The minor engineering change for 60 Blanchard Road is approved. Okay.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good night. Thank you. Next, we're on item number 8, notices given. The commission will hold a public hearing. As a courtesy to the public, the meeting will be accessible virtually through WebEx. And the public hearing is to take all of the information related to a notice of intent filed by Robert and Karen Bonanno for the installation of electric conduit, culvert repair, and wall construction. It's located at 214 Wynn Street. The proposed work would be within the bordering vegetative wetland and stream bank, and is associated with a 100-foot buffer zone. It's under the State Wetlands Protection Act, and it's also under Burlington Bylaw Article 14. The commission will review the information relative to the application and may issue an order of conditions and a Burlington Wetlands permit for this project. The application may be viewed, I assume, at the link that's on the Conservation Commission webpage. All right, so is there somebody here that wants to talk about this one?
Good evening. My name is Mary Trudeau, and I'm representing Robert Bonanno this evening.
Okay.
We have filed a notice of intent. Here are about our.
Oh, thank you, Liz.
Boy, you're seeing a lot of action tonight.
No, I tell you. In any case, we've filed a notice of intent for a project at his home at 214 Wynn Street. this is the little project that grew. When I first spoke with them about doing the project, it was strictly to take the electrical lines, which currently run on the south side of the driveway via poles, and put them in a conduit in the driveway. The reason is that they have interrupted service, that there are tree branches that overhang that line, that they felt that they would have more secure electrical service if it was in the ground. So I went out to the site and looked at it, and while I was there, I realized that there's a cross culvert that runs beneath that driveway. It's like a 12-inch concrete pipe. And I believe when they set the pipe, they probably didn't set it on stone because it's now sunk down so that it doesn't pass water from one side of the driveway to the other like it should. So I suggested that we take this opportunity to reset the pipe, just lift it up, put some stone underneath it and put the inverts at the appropriate edge. So that was the second part of the project. And then Mr. Bonanno noted that he would really like to put a cobblestone edge on the edge of the driveway to make it look more like a driveway than just a path through the woods. So we added that to our scope of work as well. I did delineate the wetlands out there. You probably could see the flagging if you were out there. The plan that we've submitted to you tonight shows the wetland flags that are closest to the work area as green dots, and those correspond to flags out in the field. The culvert is shown as the blue line that crosses the driveway, and the approximately 12-foot wide driveway is shown with the two orange lines on either side.
Okay, so let's see if we can move this along then. John or Eileen, do you have comments on this one, 214?
Yep. Okay, so this is a stream that goes under the driveway. It is not on our regulatory streams map. So it doesn't have a riverfront. It just says buffer zone and bank. So on the NOI, you put that it's land underwater. It would actually be bordering vegetated wetlands because it is intermittent.
Except there is no vegetation. I was thinking that the alteration was underneath the pipe, and there is no vegetation.
Well, how far will the pipe extend on either side of the driveway though?
It just goes to I think it's actually shown as too long on this drawing, but it just goes to either side of the driveway, really. Yeah.
So,
We're just
so
gonna
the
lift
plan would
pipe.
have to, the plan should show the actual length of the pipe,
Okay.
how far it extends on either side, so we can calculate how much of that area is being disturbed. So, the commission was out there and it seemed like the driveway was just paved. So is the conduit going in the driveway, the newly paved driveway, or is it going beside the driveway?
Sure, come on up. Why not?
Join the fun.
Sure.
You can come here.
You probably should, so they record the minutes, just state your name for the record and the fact you live there.
Certainly. Hello, I'm Robert Bonanno, owner of the property at 214 Wynn Street.
Sure.
So yes, we would slice a portion of the driveway, wherever it deems to be appropriate for you guys, for us to put the conduit in. We would slice it back and trench, and then, if possible, repave on top of that again.
Okay, and so the trench, the intent is for the conduit to go above the culvert, correct? So it'll be a shallow.
Because it's only carrying electrical, so it doesn't have to be below frost.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and then the only other point is that we need more of a detail on the wall, so where the wall would be. Would it be, how far beyond the pavement it would extend, and the length of it? The height of it would be good, but certainly, the length of it and the width of it, actually shown on the plan.
Yeah, I mean, it was described to me as a cobblestone.
And to scale.
So, something between probably 6 inches and maybe a foot.
Correct.
in height.
It's literally just a curb.
Yeah.
If you will. It wouldn't be a wall or retention. It would just be to bolster the asphalt.
Yeah, so
And just a detail. So it would be more of a 4 to 6 inch.
A lip.
So are you gonna cut part of the pavement away a little bit?
Correct, and it'll be flush to the driveway. Yeah.
So there's no problem with plowing?
Negative, no, that's not what we want.
Right.
Oh, so it would go where current pavement is, it wouldn't go beyond?
Correct, it would
Yeah.
replace.
Yeah, so just show us a detail of that, then that's
Sure.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah, we're not expanding the width of the driveway.
okay.
The only alteration really comes in with the pipe, which wasn't part of the project originally, but
Yeah.
it just seems silly not to do it.
Yeah, and you said the pipe itself is in good condition, it doesn't
It
need to
looks
be
like it
replaced?
is. I don't think the pipe is that old.
No, it was there when we bought it, but it seems to be intact. I have the means, if we need to replace it, we can.
Yeah, if you pull it up and it looks bad,
Then, yes.
Yeah.
And the intent is to stay there, so I certainly want it to be intact.
yeah,
You know, we drive over it.
all right, that's all I have.
All right. Okay, let's see if there's any other comments. Ed, anything further?
When you mentioned a wall, what's the wall again? I understood the height of it. What's the width of it?
So it's not a wall, it's more of a curb to replace a portion of the asphalt as a,
Okay.
as a stone detail. Stone-
Aesthetic, to make it look good too. Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
All
Yeah.
right, I'm good. Now, I was trying to figure out if you're putting actual wall in, that maybe you want to run your conduit through the wall, but that's not what you're doing. Okay.
I'm hoping to have the conduit under the curb, if you will, under the cobblestone, if that would be the case.
Before you're calling someone else, are there gonna be breaks in this? So the water that falls, the storm water, the rain that falls on your driveway, it's not gonna get trapped in by this wall? You're gonna have like breaks in it? Or-
So the cobblestone that we're talking is completely flush to the driveway, so it would be, the water would shed normally as,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it wouldn't be higher or lower than the asphalt.
Yeah, I misunderstood
That's what
that.
I'm sorry
Okay.
about that, so I apologize.
All right, Don, anything?
No, nothing else.
Indra,
No, nothing further.
Kent, anything?
John covered everything?
Bill?
Nope.
One last question. Are you pulling out, the wires are on telephone poles or something?
Yes,
Are you gonna pull out the telephone poles?
I'm gonna make the necessary phone calls to see, I'd like to get the poles removed altogether if that
Does
was,
that cause, I mean, I'm not in construction. I think you are in construction.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So would that cause a lot of disturbance?
So if that ends up being a problem, and we can discuss that once I find out the process of removing the poles.
If they say to cut them versus removing them, we're fine with that as well.
All right, if you think there's gonna be a disturbance, you probably should contact the office and,
I would assume they're fairly deep in the ground, and if it becomes an issue, if they can slice them and that's okay with you guys, I would leave them.
yeah, oh yeah.
That's fine. I don't
The
need
least,
that
dis-
space.
you know, we're interested in the least disturbance for
Understood.
things that, natural resources and stuff, so.
Bird
Okay,
house on top of it.
okay, so that was my only question. I was wondering what about the telephone poles?
I'm sure it would be invasive, so I'm assuming we may take the path of cutting them if they allow that.
Right, yeah, that's fine. Okay.
And the
so-
DEP, and the DEP did issue a file number on this, 122-684.
Okay. All right, so is there any, I have to ask, for a public hearing, it's entitled to public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to make a comment about the proposed project to do some work on an existing driveway at 214 Wynn Street? Anyone? Looks like no. Okay. That's good. All right, then. So we would close the next time? All right. So it sounded like there was, I didn't hear any issues at all that you'll have to respond to. So it looks to me like we simply close the hearing and issue the permit at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Well, they'll need to provide some more detail and a better drawing, and Mary will maybe tweak
Right,
the other
yeah,
one.
that's right. There's a little bit more in the drawing.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that.
Sure, we can,
And
yep.
we'll find out the length of the culvert that goes across,
Right.
because we want to replace it in kind. And that will give us the
Square
square
footage,
footage
right.
of alteration. And
Yep.
we'll draw something up about the cobblestones, just to show that it's a decorative edge as opposed to
Wall.
a wall.
Yep,
Sounds
okay.
great.
Perfect.
Okay, so could I have a motion then to continue this public hearing until the next meeting of January 12th?
12th.
So moved, Ed?
Second, Bill.
All right, Ed, how do you vote?
Yes?
John?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. By a vote of 600, the hearing for 214 Wynn Street is continued to January 12th, and we'll wrap it up at that time.
Thank you so much.
All right,
It's a kind of Christmas that date, so it's probably when you're gonna get your gift.
Right.
there you go.
It's better than a washer and dryer.
If we have to.
Thanks for coming in person.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
Okay. All right. Next, we have a continued public hearing. This one is a commercial project, 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike, proposed by Nuria Energy Corporation. They would like to demolish the gas station and convenience store and the restaurant building, which is the old Angelo's it was called?
D'Angelo's.
What was it?
D'Angelo's.
D'Angelo's, and construct a new gas station and convenience store. It's DEP file number 122-681. All right, good evening.
Good evening. I'm Andrew Platt with Bowler, along with Tim McGuire from Goddard Consulting, and Michael Durant from Nuria Energy is here tonight too. Since the last time we met, the project was approved by the Burlington Planning Board with conditions, none of which affect the overall site layout or limit of work. Also, since last time, we revised the plans to address the requests of the commission from the last meeting regarding additional infiltration and infiltration of pavement runoff. I don't know if it might be helpful to look at the grading plan.
Do you want to see, I was going to
Okay,
say,
yeah.
oh, no, I was going to ask you what you want to see.
Yeah, the grading plan, please, I think.
Okay,
See,
give me a moment, I was trying to mess around with my mouse to get a better drainage plan. No, that's drainage report. Oh, seriously, Alan, come on.
Okay.
Oh.
You have more to say?
Yeah, sorry, I was just waiting for the grading plan, but
Just
yeah,
waiting for it to appear.
just to address these requests, we reconfigured the stormwater system to route parking lot runoff to the infiltration basin instead of having only roof runoff directed to the infiltration basin as previously proposed. We also more than tripled the storage volume of the infiltration basin, which results in reductions of peak flow rates and volumes of 50 to nearly 70% over existing conditions. And also, as requested, we have specified that there will be no gap between the bottom of the new vinyl fence and the ground. And there was a similar request from Mr. Keelig, and we addressed that regarding the patio area by fully enclosing the patio area to the south, so no trash will go through there. There was a gap there, so no trash will go through there either. So that's pretty much what we've done since last time. I think we've probably addressed your requests, but I'm happy to answer any questions or provide more detail.
All right, John or Eileen, anything further on this?
Sure. So, as you recall, the original plan was to infiltrate the rooftop from the building and the canopies over the gas station, over the gas tanks, gas pumps, and the driveway was going to just go off into the wetland to the south via swale. And they've redone it so that all the paved area goes into the infiltration system. Now, half the building roughly goes into it as opposed to, so I do have one question. Was it just a capacity issue? So, now the back half of the building you don't have going into the infiltration system, and initially you did. Was it just too much volume, or?
Well, partially, yeah. We didn't need to infiltrate that as much since we had the remainder. We added so much area going to the infiltration basin. Plus, just practically speaking, it's just easier. The roof's already right there to the rear. It doesn't need to be treated, so we just felt like, we should just put it there.
So it's a big increase in infiltration, obviously over existing conditions, and also additionally over what was approved the first time and what they submitted initially with this filing. The initial filing had modest reductions in peak rates for the 210 and 100. Now this revised plan has substantial decrease in the peak rates for the storms. So I would say that this is definitely a big improvement.
And it's done with a larger infiltrator, is that?
Correct.
That's how it was done?
Yeah, we more than tripled the size of the previous infiltration basin.
Right, okay.
Back here.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly where your cursor is.
All right, so let's, I guess, is there any concerns left, issues to be thought about?
No.
All right, so let's go through our roll call. Ed, do you have anything further on this one?
No, I think the changes look good.
All right, Don?
No, nothing else.
Indra?
No, I think it's better than what it was previously.
Yeah. All right, Kent?
I agree with Andrew. It's a way better plan.
Way better.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Bill?
The question I have, I was looking at the drainage reports here. Soil boring.
A couple of the borings, and what was called Geo6 location, borings 3 and 4, both say that there was strong petroleum odor and sheen. What does that mean, and is that require some remedial action, or what is that all about?
Those may be old borings. I'll check with Nuria. They have got the environmental reports, but last I heard, that was not an issue, not a current issue, but we'll definitely check into that.
Okay, and if it were an issue, what would that involve?
Possibly remediation, possibly, or moving the infiltration basin, but yeah, I just don't.
Is the Board of Health, have you met with the Board of Health on this?
Yes, yep. Under the previous application from 2020 or 19 or whatever. So, yep.
Should we send a note to the Board of Health that we had some concern about those borings?
They have this, they got copies of this.
So they're okay with it, I guess.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, we received approval from the Board of Health last time, and then this time around, it was stated that we don't need a new application or approval.
Okay, all right, I mean, if they reviewed it, they must be okay with it. Okay, Bill, anything else?
No, just that one concern. It's kind of buried in the report. Hopefully they saw it.
Two questions. As part of this project, is the existing white fencing coming down?
Yeah, the existing fencing is being replaced.
All right. Is there, I don't know if you know, but is there any trash or anything along the bank that you folks can help us take out during, when that thing comes down, take advantage of that opportunity? Could we get you to agree to remove that?
Yes, yes.
If there is, I'm not even
believe-
sure there is, so I mean, it's,
I believe we saw a draft of the conditions, and that was one of the conditions. We're fine with that.
right, we'd appreciate that help very much. Okay, that's all I have. Okay, so this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment for 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike by Noria Energy Corporation to demolish the existing facilities, gas station, convenience store, restaurant, and basically construct a new one? Nope. Okay, so the record should show there was no public participation for this particular hearing. All right, so we have draft decisions.
We do, and I shared them with the applicant earlier today, and Andy gave me a couple of edits, so I'm going to read out the one that had his green change, so that we can just make sure that we're all on the same page with that. Starting with the bylaw decision, a notice of intent was filed for the demolition of 2 structures and construction of the gas station and convenience store within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and within riverfront area to Vinebrook. Then we go through the filing history, and I just need to remove an extra period there. Long list of plans and various things that they have shared with us. So wetland values and areas subject to protection. The proposed work was within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and within the inner 100-foot riverfront area to Vinebrook. He made a change here. I had said that the closest point of the proposed work was 19 feet.
19 or 18, yeah.
And he changed it to the closest point is 11 feet from the BVW, and the closest existing building was 19.2 feet from the stream. Work occurring within or close proximity to the resource areas can generate adverse impacts to those areas. We put a lot of figures here about how much of the square feet of the project set was in the riverfront area. This is yellow because we basically used the same exact decisions that we had used in the previous iteration. We just changed the appropriate things. So in this case, it's a total of 26,055 square feet. The Commission is finding that there are no practical practicable and substantially equivalent economic alternatives with less impact. Under stormwater management, it's as explained earlier by Andy, the site has been designed to drain to deep sump-headed catch basins. The catch basins will capture and convey stormwater runoff via an underground pipe system to an existing outfall point at the swale at the southern end of the site. Pre-treatment will be by a combination of deep sump-hooded catch basin and proprietary treatment unit prior to discharge. And he tweaked the previous wording slightly to say rooftop runoff from the gas canopy, the building roof and the pavement areas will be collected and discharged through the water quality unit to the filtration basin. So didn't we say earlier, wasn't there a conversation with you and John that it's half the roof?
Yeah, I had changed it originally to a portion of the roof, building roof.
Right.
I think I changed it somewhere. I don't know if
Yeah,
it was in that
there's
sentence. but-
two references. You did change one, and this one was the previous one, which referenced only the roof going to the infiltration basin, so I just wanted to make it clear that pavement water was being added to that. But you're correct, there's another one in the other document.
Yeah, so it should say a portion of the building.
Yeah.
That's, or half, or whatever.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just say a portion of it. That's fine. And then there will be an increase of approximately 541 square feet in pervious area. I don't want to go through all of the standards, but this is a LUPL, so they are, it's a LUPL, and a wellhead 2 protection zone, and they're going to be implementing a SWIP before land disturbance begins, and I would appreciate it. I don't think it's written in here. I'll be in touch with you to send us the SWIP. This will also serve as a permit under Burlington's erosion and sedimentation control bylaw, which we should also change because we're calling it stormwater bylaw, although it hasn't officially been changed yet. And we are proposing a bond of $20,000 for this project. Now let me just switch to the order. We're again listing the multitude of plans and drawings and presentation material that was provided before. The first several conditions are standard conditions that goes into every condition, every permit every order of conditions that we issue. It's permitting work within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and within the riverfront area to Vine Brook. No work within any resource area has been permitted by this decision. Again, the next few are standard. Under pre-construction conditions, we're requiring that they make contact with us within 5 days before the construction begins. We will do a site visit to see that the proposed limit of work is marked in the field, that erosion controls are installed as required by the reference plans, that the DEP sign is up, that the bond has been paid, that there's a dewatering plan if necessary, etc. And what we are asking for, as we said, erosion control as shown in the reference plan, and that should be hay bales and sediment filter fabric fence. Materials shall not be stockpiled on the site within 40 feet of the wetlands or brook, and at the end of the workday, you know, they need to keep this a nice clean site. No additional grading beyond what's shown in the approved plan should be permitted without coming back to conservation. The pollution control conditions are all standard, just basically keep the site clean. If there's no discharge of fuel, and if one happens, you have to report it properly. Do not use pesticides, herbicides, fungicides within 100 feet of the wetland, and that will be noted on the certificate of compliance as existing in perpetuity. Rooftop, from the runoff, parking, driveway, fueling area and underground storage tank, fueling pad will be managed using deep sump-headed catch basins, water quality unit and underground infiltration basins. The applicant shall adhere to the O&M plan submitted within the stormwater management report, and you should submit documentation annually to the conservation after construction to say that the stormwater management system is being maintained as required. No rock salt should be used on paved surfaces, and this shall be noted in the COC in perpetuity. No storage of snow shall be permitted near the rear of the lot at the top of the slope to stream, nor shall snow be pushed onto the bank. You should install no snow storage allowed signs on the along the rear of the lot. The O&M plan shall be revised through scheduled parking lot sweeping 4 times per year and shall be recorded at the Middlesex Registry of Deeds. Most of the buffer zone restoration areas are pretty Self-explanatory, keep trash clear from the site to the river bank, including trash within the river limits during construction. They have a new landscaping plan for this iteration. A total of 18 native trees and 143 native shrubs as specified in the approved plan shall be planted across the property. And these planted areas shall not be returned to impervious surfaces, but we are asking that they replace some of the identified plants with native ones. And this condition shall be noted in the COC in perpetuity. No invasive plants shall be planted anywhere within Burlington, and that shall also be in the COC for perpetuity. The existing broken fence shall be replaced with a vinyl fence that will prevent trash from falling or blowing into the resource area. And the last part is about how they go about getting their certificate of occupancy and certificate of compliance.
Okay, anyone who's online, any of the commissioners online, Ed, Indra,
or Don, do you have any comments on either the findings or the proposed permit?
None related for me. I'm just curious about something. What's the completion date?
I believe it's probably going to start in the spring of next year, I would assume, and finish up 6 months, so end of, early fall of 2023.
And the personal one would be, is it still going to be a Shell station?
Yes, it will. Yes, yeah, it will.
Okay. I'm a Shell member and I said, oh, please don't change it to something else. I live a half a mile from it.
Okay, that was a question based on self-interest, apparently.
There you go.
All right, Kent, anything? Nope. Bill, how about anything else?
No.
I have one question. If you look at your plan,
and you look at that, the edge of the site is like 20 feet to a wetland. And then you have to maintain no stockpile within 40 feet. That means 20 feet beyond, I think, beyond the fence, there's no stockpile. So that means in back of the building, the restaurant part of the building, the mart, and the gas station part of the building, you can't stockpile. Can you live with not stockpiling within 40 feet?
I believe so, yeah. There's still room up towards the road to stockpile. You mean during construction, right?
Yeah, during construction.
I'm sure they'll find a
You're
spot.
okay with it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, just want to mention because it seems like you're pretty limited on that site after you exclude all those areas.
Yeah, you're right, but there should still be room towards the road.
Right.
Yeah, they'll find a spot, I'm sure.
Just wanted to ask this.
Plus, there's not going to be a whole lot of stockpiling too. There's not a whole lot of earthwork going on with this project, so.
Except when they dig the foundation.
Correct, yes.
The landscape architect who stamped your plans, is he a Bowler employee or?
Yes.
Okay, can you just have him maybe issue a revised with those plan changes? So Norway has the right ones?
Yep, we can do that.
All right, I guess there's nothing further. All right, then could I have a motion to close the hearing on DEP file number 122-681?
So moved, Don.
Indra.
All right, Ed, how do you vote on closing the hearing?
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. The hearing is closed by a vote of 600.
A
Can I have a
motion to adopt the findings under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike, DEP file number 122-681.
So moved, Bill.
Second?
Second, Kent.
Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. The findings are adopted by a vote of 600. Can I have a motion to adopt the draft permit for 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike under both the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for DEP file number 122-681?
So moved, Indra.
Second,
Second, Ed?
Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The permit is approved for DEP file number 122-681. Could I have a motion to require the posting of performance surety in the amount of $20,000 under Burlington bylaw Article 14 for 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike, which is DEP file number 122-681?
So moved, Bill.
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right, Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 6-0-0. The $20,000 performance bond is requested under Burlington bylaw Article 14. I think you're all set.
Very
Thank you very
much.
much.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Well
Good
done,
night.
very well done.
Thank you.
Oh, shoot, I forgot to bring that thing for them to sign.
What thing was it?
The deed.
Want to know if I get it?
No, that's right. We can get to sign it when they signed it in red. We can take care of it.
Okay. All right, next. We have a few items under administrative materials. 10A, vote to accept the land donation of 2 parcels on Drake Road. John or Eileen? why don't
So
you-
you've discussed these a few times, and we actually should have a form here for you to sign, but we don't, unfortunately, I forgot to bring it. But, so the Board of Select Board voted at their previous meeting to accept the parcels at the end of Drake Road, which were were donated by Gary Litchfield as part of his project where he's building the house at the end of Drake Road. So it's actually, it's one parcel right at the end of Drake Road, pretty much a small parcel there. And then beyond the house, there's a more sizable parcel, which includes some riverfront area to a regulatory stream. So we just need you to vote to formally accept and then sign off on the form to be recorded, which I'll have ready for the people coming in to sign the other
Does
decisions.
it have to go to the selectmen also?
It has already,
It has already.
yeah,
So it's just requiring our signature.
correct.
All right, well, that's pretty much as discussed in the hearing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, which is a good thing. Okay. Anyone in the commission have any comments before we vote on accepting these 2 parcels of land?
Is this, hang on.
What is the area? Anybody knows? Total area?
What's the area?
Yeah.
I don't remember. This is the one we negotiated it to be bigger, you remember, than originally proposed?
Yeah, it might be like an acre.
It's right here. Parcel A was a bit under an acre, a bit under half an acre, 19,000. And then parcel B is one and a bit acres.
1 and a bit?
Yeah. You know, that technical term.
A little dusting.
1.15 acres and 19,000 square feet.
That sounds good. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Acre and a half.
so it sounds like we have 1.5 and a bit. Is that how it adds up, or what?
Somewhere between 1.5 and 2 acres.
Okay,
Good.
that's what the bit means.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Done and dusted.
Eileen, I'm learning a lot of expressions from you. Okay, could I have a motion to accept 2 land donations, 2 parcels of land on Drake Road, and this is from Gary Litchfield, right?
Correct.
Okay, that is being given to the town, which is pretty much adjacent to the existing Mill Pond Conservation Area. And it amounts to 1.5 acres. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved, Indra.
Second?
Second, Don.
All right, Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The commission enthusiastically accepts these two donations of land, these two parcels of land. All right, next, we have 10B is to vote the 2023 meeting schedule. Okay, this is the list of dates. And does anyone have any comments? I will be out on the 12th. And unless a quorum is needed, and I'll participate from a hotel room if it has adequate web connection, but I mean, I'd prefer not to if it's not necessary, obviously.
Don't be in a bathing suit.
Yeah, so could you?
I
can
will be also out on January 12th.
You're out.
Uh-oh,
That's not good,
that's a problem.
I'll be actually out of country.
because we won't have done either. I'm
Okay.
not sure about
Yeah,
Jan-
I can do that meeting if you need me.
Yeah, so maybe we might need to make your effective date of don't hold it, don't submit your formal resignation until,
Luckily, he hasn't.
yeah. Yeah, because we'll
I
need
didn't know
you.
I had to do that.
We won't have a quorum.
All right, could we count on you, Don, then, for the 12th?
Sorry, Don.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Prolong the agony or the pleasure? I don't know how you view it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So this meeting schedule, it's something the clerk's office likes us to provide. So it's basically the same thing you always do. It's 2 meetings a month except for July and August and November and December.
All right, anyone else know of, so
You don't have to tell us you don't have to tell us, yeah, I'm going to miss a meeting in August, or you don't need to do that now.
okay,
January, that's fine, but
yeah,
I will be here on the 12th, and I can cover that.
you can cover it?
Yeah.
That's great, thank you. Okay,
so before you vote on that, additionally, there's been discussion about moving the start time up. So I don't know if Dawn, would you be able to make 6:30 on the 12th?
Yeah, I'll do that.
So the commission has talked about going forward, starting at 6:30. So if you want to do that as part of the vote on accepting the calendar,
or separate votes?
whatever, but just, yeah.
Okay, so we should do separate votes in case, okay. All right, so could I have a vote to, a motion to accept the meeting calendar 2023 as presented?
So moved. Ed.
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right, so Ed, how do you vote?
Yes?
Don?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair, yes. Okay, 600, the meeting schedule as tabled here in front of us is approved. Next, let's talk about the meeting time. I'll state that if meeting at 6:30 is not insurmountable, if you normally eat at the 5:30 to 6:30 range, then that's me, I'll have to adjust. Okay, but the advantage, of course, is you get home earlier. That's the advantage. Let me ask, okay, Ed, how do you feel about adjusting it permanently?
For me, it's gonna be good because, and I thank John for this whole list. It made my daughters happy. We now can easily schedule so I can be at the meetings at any time.
Okay,
So I'm good.
all right. Dawn, you're okay for the next meeting, 6:30, you said? All right, thank you very much, sir. Indra, how about permanently 6:30?
Well, I would adjust because usually I do watch that international news from 6:30 to 7. But in this case, I think I can adjust my schedule. No problem.
Usually, would you say usually work? Is that what it is?
What's the international news?
No,
You watch
usually I do watch the
Oh.
international news from
Ah,
6:30
okay.
to 7.
Yeah, where do you catch that? Is there a special station?
No, it's just channel 5 or 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, if you have a DVR, you can time delay it and then watch it when you get home, I suppose.
That's what I said. I would adjust. No problem.
All right. Kent,
Yep, no issues.
No issues. Bill?
Fine with me.
Fine with me? Okay, and for myself, I will make the sacrifice of eating dinner earlier. It's okay with me. All right, could I have a motion to adjust the starting date permanently for all future meetings of the Conservation Commission to 6:30 PM? Is there such a motion?
So move, Bill.
Second.
Second, Ken.
Ed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kent?
No, yes.
Not yet?
No, just kidding. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Bill?
Yes.
And I vote yes. For a vote of 600, the meetings of the Burlington Conservation Commission will now begin at 6:30 PM. Next on the agenda is planning board comments.
Sorry.
Yeah. Just run planning board comments.
Nothing.
We don't have any.
Okay.
They're done with Noria already.
All right, and subcommittee and staff reports and updates.
I don't think we have anything.
Okay,
Subcommittee?
okay. Other business? Well, we have an empty slot on the commission, a couple of empty slots, right?
Correct.
And we have at least one blank opening where we don't have anybody in mind at the moment. But there are two openings, so if anybody's interested, they could apply, right?
Absolutely.
Please do.
Okay.
And
upcoming,
if you guys know anybody,
right.
I know you've already gone through your friends, but still, Kent.
I went through actually through my whole list of friends, all three of them.
Go, look through your Rolodexes.
What's that? What's a Rolodex? John is showing his age.
It was a
I
joke.
was joking.
Oh, you didn't mean it?
No.
Okay, upcoming meeting, January 12th, 2023. And if it's needed, because someone else has to drop, I'll try to tune in and make the quorum. Okay?
You'll physically be away though, right?
I'll go away. I'll be out of town at a hotel.
That will be a last resort.
Well, you
unless we-
don't always know if you get a good internet connection.
Right.
And the next meeting after that is January 26th. All right. Anything else?
I have one thing. Anybody else have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Dawn, even though you are quitting today, but now you're coming back next month, I won't be here, so I just wanted to say a few words. Dawn, it's been a pleasure to have you on the commission. You've been on for a couple of years, and you have contributed to the meetings, you've asked questions, you've shown up at those site visits, you've done all the things and more. And also, I'll mention that when we went for the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Grant Program application, it was an action grant, and you did some of the drone flights to help get that grant. That's not someone who, not everyone here has drones, I guess, is the way to put it. So it was very much appreciated. And it was a pleasure for us to have you on the commission. Now I'll first go to anybody else who wants to say anything.
You can also wish them goodbye in January if you're here, but if you want to say anything, Ed?
Without a doubt, Don, I wish you were still on a little longer because we all learn from each other too, but I'm wishing you well.
All right, Indra?
Yes, Don, we would miss you. And anytime anybody comes and we get to know each other, and when somebody leaves, it kinds of, miss very much. And wish you good luck.
All right, Kent?
No, it's been a pleasure. It's a great addition to the committee. It's, I echo Ed's comments. It's, it's too bad he couldn't serve on longer, but I wish you the best of luck and
Pleasure serving with you.
Bill?
The more people I meet in this community, the more I am impressed with the amount of talent and skills that are existing in Burlington. And you, Dawn, are an excellent example of that. And I'm glad that I met you. Your skills in photography and video and things like that are outstanding, and it's been a benefit, as Larry pointed out, to the commission at several times in the past. And it'd be a hard skill to replace, I think, on the commission. So thank you for the time, and I'm glad to have got to know you through our interactions on the commission.
Now, we don't necessarily have to say permanently goodbye, because if perhaps we wanted to have a drone flight over some portion of Burlington, maybe we could give you a call and ask if you're in a particularly good mood.
His rates are reasonable.
Well, thank you all for the kind remarks, and it's been a pleasure and an honor serving with everybody involved with the commission, and I will continue to support the commission in any way I can going forward. I just have other things on my plate that I have requirements to pay more attention to, and I'm not going anywhere. I'll be around.
All right. All right. Now, one more thing, Don. We thought enough of you to actually get you a small gift. The problem is, I ordered it the week before Thanksgiving and it has not come. It's a little engraved gift just thanking you for your service on the commission. Unfortunately, I can't officially present it to you. And because you're online, it would have been even more difficult to try to shove it through the airwaves anyway. So if it shows up and it's not lost, we will endeavor to get it and we'll get it over to you and so forth. Or maybe even if it comes, hopefully it comes and maybe we can give it at the January meeting and Bill will do the honors.
Don can have it.
If Don's here in person.
There we go.
We'll work something out.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and it's been great working with everybody.
Yep.
Type of person we like to have on the commission. You're easy to get along with, you have skills that not everyone has, and so it really has been a pleasure for you to be on the commission with us for the past 2 years.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
All right, so next.
Thank you for staying around for one more meeting, too. Saved us.
Yeah, you did, in a pinch. All right, so the next thing on the agenda is adjournment. Could I have a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission?
So moved, Kent.
Second, Bill.
Ed, how do you vote on adjournment? Okay, Don?
Yes.
Indra?
I think I would say also yes.
Excellent choice.
Kent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 6-0. The December 8th, 2022 meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission is now adjourned. Have a good night.